Yeah, g'day, welcome back to the channel. A few months ago, I did a swag tip video and it's got like a couple of hundred comments on it now, which is really good. But half of those comments, probably more than half in fact, are about the tarps that I use. You know, what sizes they are, what materials they are, what brands they are, you know, how I use them and all that sort of stuff. So I thought rather than keep answering that question over and over again, I'd do a video about the tarps that I use, the tarp setups that I have, and a bit later on I'll have a bunch of tips on how to make the most out of your tarps, or get the most out of your tarps to, you know, help you with your swag camping or any type of camping for that matter, because I use them when I'm not swag camping as well. But first of all, you know, tarps are a super underrated part of swag camping. You know, a swag is designed to be able to, you just pull up somewhere, chuck it out of the back of your ute, throw it on the ground, and you're good to go. And that is great. That is a simple, awesome way to go swag camping, and it works really, really well, and that's what they're designed to do. Add some tarps into the mix there, and you've got a system which will prolong the longevity of your swag. It'll make your swag last longer, and not only that, it'll save you so much time because it keeps your tarp in good order and nice and clean. So let's sort of step through the tarps that I use. First of all, these ducks are very friendly. So yeah, first of all, I guess my favourite tarp is this 3 metre by 3 metre tarp. As you can see, my little scrunch bag, my little stuff sack has torn at the top after whatever 5 or 6 years. So I've got a new one, so I'm going to put it in there today. But this is a nylon tarp, and it's from DD Hammocks. Let me just get it out of the bag here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, so it's a nylon tarp, and it's 3 metres by 3 metres, and the brand is DD Hammocks. And again, not sponsored, just buy their gear. I like their gear. I've had this tarp for probably 4 or 5 years now. I had the 4 metre by 4 metre, and I'll talk about that in a minute, a bit longer. So I've had that probably 6 years, but I've had this for a long time, and it is still as good as the day I bought it. Now, I do look after my tarps. There's some things I don't do to them which can shorten their lifespan. Like for instance, I don't fold my tarps. I stuff them into stuff sacks so that they're not developing creases in any way, you know, in any areas on the tarp, because that can create weak spots. So I always stuff them into stuff sacks, and that's a great habit to get into. And also, I put my tarp over the top of my ridge line, so I don't run the ridge line through the eyelets. So I don't run the ridge line through here and then move this along the eyelets. I just throw the whole tarp over and then use tensioning knots. And I've got a video about those too if you want to check that out. Have a look up here. But so I throw it over the ridge line and then tension it out with prusik knots or Klemheist knots with toggles. And what that does is it protects your tarp. It protects these tie-out points, so they're not getting any wear and tear on them. So looking after my tarp this tarp has lasted, you know, like I said, 5 years, and it's as good as the day I had it. This thing has been in belting rain, it's been in incredibly heavy winds, and it's also been out on beautiful sunny days keeping the sun off me, and it has never once missed a beat. Like, I'm not talking up DD Hammocks here in any way, shape or form. All nylon types are pretty good. There's a lot of Australian brands. Alton do some good ones. There's a whole raft of different types of nylon tarps you can get, but they are just so good for overhead protection. You know, stringing it up on a ridge line, or even just freestanding. You know, there's a bunch of different ways you can use a tarp like this, different setups, and every time you set your camp up, it's going to be different. There's going to be different trees laid out. There's going to be different heights of your swag. So you've got different types of swags or different tents underneath it, things like that. It's always going to be different. So you can always have a different setup. So, you know, I usually use a lean-to or a sort of an A-frame kind of hybrid most of the time, because that seems to work really, really well, especially if you've got trees like there are behind the camera here. You can just string a ridge line, drape it over, and you're good to go. It takes a couple of minutes, and you've got so much protection, it's not funny. But you know, I've always also used plough points to set up my camp under, especially when I know it's not going to rain, because plough points are good. You get a lot of protection, but if there's squally winds, the wind will blow the rain in underneath because it's really wide open on one side. So I do use those from time to time, sea flies, and just, you know, low down A-frames when it's belting rain. You know, a tarp, these nylon tarps will just keep all the weather off you, whether it's wind or rain or sleet, snow even. I haven't been out in snow in it, but I'm sure it would do just as good. And sun, of course, in the middle of summer, you can get under it and get some protection. So yeah, so that's my 3 metre by 3 metre tarp. Great bit of gear. Like you can see here, the corners and all of the tie-outs are reinforced, so they've got a bit of reinforced rubber, plastic, something here, you know, double stitched everywhere you go, and then good strong tie out points. And there's heaps of tie out points on it as well. So there's a ridge line running right along the middle with 5 tie outs. There's 5 tie outs down both sides, all sides. So there's 1 on each corner and then 3 across each side. So lots and lots of tie out points. It gives you lots and lots of versatility with it. And it is a great tarp. It's lightweight, doesn't weigh much. Like I said, you can just stuff it into a sack and away you go. So yeah, brilliant bit of gear. 3x3 DD hammocks, nylon tarp. You won't find a better tarp on the market. It is a great bit of gear. So yeah, have a look out for one of those if you're looking for a tarp for overhead shelter. Similarly, this one is exactly the same, but it is a 4x4 nylon tarp. So this one's from DD hammocks as well. And I'm not going to take it out, but you can see it's green, and same deal. It's exactly the same setup, just 4 meters by 4 meters. So this one gives me far more protection. So when it is absolutely belting, I'll use this one. Or if it is, I tend to use this one in summer more. So you can have a lot more shade. So yeah, you can set up a bit more. You can set up a chair and have your camp underneath a tarp rather than sitting out under the sky, because it gets pretty hot here in summer. So yeah, 4 meters by 4 meters, this gives you that extra bit of space to set up under. But it's exactly the same layout, same tie out points on the corners, same reinforced corners and everything like that, but just a bit bigger. This one's green. This one I think is called Coyote Brown. I like the natural earthy sort of colours, but they do come in others. You can get some camo ones. That's not really my thing. But I think they also come in other black and things like that. But these are the colours I bought. If these ones ever get a tear in them or anything like that, if a branch or something falls on them, I might have to replace them. I might go another colour. But I really like the two earthy colours. If you're out in the bush, green and brown seems to make sense. So yeah, so they're my overhead tarps, and I love them. They're brilliant. They will keep all the weather off you, no matter whether it's hot, stormy, windy, sleety, snowy, whatever it is. These will keep the rain from getting onto you and onto your swag. And like I said, that saves you time when it comes to packing up. So yes, that's my overhead tarps. But tarps are also for underground. Now, I don't use my overhead tarps all the time. I only use them when I reckon there's going to get water or something, rain from above or condensation settling in on the tarp, so I don't have to pack up a wet tarp. That's when I'll use my overhead tarps, or if it's sunny. What I do use every single time is a ground sheet. And now I've used this. This is my go-to ground sheet. It is I don't even know what material it is. Some sort of PVC, waterproof material. I bought this from Bunnings, and for those who aren't in Australia, Bunnings is like a hardware store, big hardware store, and I bought this probably 5-6 years ago again. I think it's like 2 meters by 3 meters, perfect size for my tarp, for my swag. So my swag will sit here. That gives me this much room out the front where I can put my gear. I can sit and have a coffee, make dinner or whatever it is that I'm doing. I've got a little bit of space. So 2 meters by 3 meters. And it's a brilliant bit of gear as well. As you can see in this corner, I've lost an eyelet, so I've had to replace this little thing with some gaffer tape a couple of times. But as far as the tarp goes, it's got a few burn holes in it from sparks on the fire and things like that. But this is by far my go-to first thing I put out when I go camping is this tarp, or I've got a smaller one here if I'm camping. It goes under my tent, but also used it under so I also use this under my swag a couple of times when I've been using this tarp for something at home. So yeah, that's a smaller one. It's vinyl, bit lighter and easier to carry, so I use that for when I'm hiking. But yeah, this one goes out under my swag every single time, and it protects my swag from underneath. Okay, so a couple of things it does, apart from giving you some space. Rocks, sticks, you don't always get rid of them. You can usually give it a good clean, but you miss them from time to time. This thing will protect you from that. It also protects you from water. So it's easier to dry a tarp when you get home than it is to dry out a swag. So if you put this down on wet grass or anything like that, and then your swag on top, your swag's nice and clean and nice and dry from underneath. So you're not getting mud on it, you're not getting dirt and dust and all that sort of stuff, and sticks and all those things when you roll it up. Such a good idea, just having this underneath your swag. So this is the first thing that I put down whenever I go out, and it is brilliant. I love it. It also protects you from the rain to some extent. So what you don't want, like if it starts belting with rain, you don't want water coming down and going underneath your overhead tarp and getting underneath your swag. So this thing will protect it. So I can hold this up like this. So if there's rain out there and the rain comes, your rain will go underneath this tarp as well, and then again to protect my swag. So it's all really about making sure my swag, or my tent for that matter, is in good order when I come to pack it up. Because when you want to pack up, you don't want to be having to deal with a wet and muddy swag. So they're my tarps. Now, a couple of tips. So a few things, starting to get a bit stiff. So yeah, a few things as tips for when you're setting up tarps is, first of all, guy lines. You need guy lines when you use tarps. Now, I've got a whole bunch of them that come with these pre-installed tensioning hooks. You don't need them, but they are very, very handy if you can get them. So I always encourage people to go and grab a bunch of these, just for speed. It means you don't have to tie any taut line hitches or anything like that to just tension your guy lines. So a couple of guy lines. I've got probably 10 or 15 in my ute at any one time, just for this very reason, because you don't know what you're going to need. So yeah, guy lines, super important part of any tent setup. So get a bunch of those, and pegs. Get good pegs. Don't use shitty pegs. I struggled with this for years. I just kept using the same crappy little pegs you get when you get by a tent or anything like that. They throw in a couple of cheap sort of lightweight pegs. Don't use them. I bought a Sandhi, or I didn't buy it. Someone, Vic Off-Road, gave it to me to do a review on, which very appreciative. It was a great bit of gear, and it came with these pegs, which are glow in the dark screw-in pegs, and they're steel, and they are brilliant. I've been whacking these in and out for years, for 18 months now, and they're all perfectly good nick, and they are such good bits of gear because they glow in the dark as well. So yeah, that sort of peg. But also, I don't know where I got these, but if you can see the shape of them, when you hit them with a hammer, you're hitting on the top, but you're putting all the power into the shaft of the there's ducks everywhere. Yeah, so you're not putting any pressure on from the side. So these things never bend. They're steel as well. They weigh a little bit, but I've got a ute, so it doesn't really worry me so much. But these are great bits of gear too. I have no idea where I even picked these up. I've had them for about 4 or 5 years now. One of the just camping stores somewhere. So yeah, invest in good pegs. It is such a good hello. So yeah, getting some pegs is a bloody good idea as well. So guy lines and pegs. The ducks are right under that camera, so they might knock it over in a sec. A couple more quick little tips. When it comes to using stakes and staking out your ground sheet or your overhead tarps, whether it's on guy lines or whether you're just staking down the tarp to the ground itself, don't hammer them in or step them in all the way first up. Just put them in a couple of inches so you can move them quickly. You never get your stakes right the first time. Never. I've never once put them in and got, wow, I've got it spot on first time. So if you just sort of stick them in so that they're easy to pull out, saves you a bit of time, because quite often if you, like I was burned about this years ago when I used to do a lot more camping, like when I started camping, I'd hammer them in and then I'd have to go and wedge them out again. So, yeah, because these things stick to the ground pretty well. Big parrot. So yeah, don't stick them in all the way, just a couple of inches. And the last thing, like I said before, is stuff your tarps into stuff sacks. Don't fold them up. I do fold this big one up, only because it doesn't stuff, because it's pretty heavy duty material, but it's also, being heavy duty, it's not going to get a, hello, there's a kangaroo right there. Yeah, so being heavy duty, it's not going to have that problem where that nylon tarps will. So I do fold this one up, but yeah, stuff them. And I'll show you what I mean by stuffing a tarp into a stuff sack, because I've got to put this one away. So I bought a new stuff sack. Like I said, this one tore last time I was out, so I've got a new one. Like I said, I like yellows and oranges. So what I usually do is I find a corner. Where's a corner? So start with a corner, just put it in, start stuffing. This stuff sack's much bigger than the other one too, so it'll be nice and easy. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing to it, and I don't do any planning or anything. I literally just stuff it in, and that way it's crunched up a different way every single time. And there you go. One 3 metre by 3 metre tarp in a whatever 12 by 6 inch pack, ready to chuck in the back of the ute. So yeah, so that's my little tarp review. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found something useful from it. I know a lot of people have been asking me about my tarps, so hopefully that answers a lot of questions and saves me a lot of time in answering comments. I can just direct them to this video. So yeah, hopefully you got something useful out of it. I'm out at Casuarina Sands, beautiful Ngunnawal country, and I pay my respects to Aboriginal people all over this wonderful, wonderful country that we've got and we get to live in. So yeah, lovely spot. It's dawn. Sun's just about to come up over the hills. I wanted to get this video done before the sun glares behind me, and I think I had a bit of success on it. I know it's going to be a little bit dark, but it'll be okay. So yeah, thanks for coming out. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.